He was already dead. I'm sure of that. And in that case, they may as well execute him at Bakwanga as at Elizabethville.
But there he was in the hands of the blacks. They were in the hands of the black government.
So the discussion was not about whether to save Lumumba, the only discussion was about where to kill him.
Yes. To put it in plain words, that was the issue.
They wanted to kill them all. They said, if we don't kill him, we'll have more trouble.
It was Munongo and Kibwe, the hardliners in the Katanga government, whose point of view won the day. And their line was, Lumumba's arrival in Katanga means he must be put to death. The government met and decided Lumumba would be killed. They had a lot to drink during that cabinet meeting, and they had a lot more to drink afterwards.
They took them to the presidency, to Chombe's residence. It was already evening, about 8 o'clock, 8:30, and from the presidency they went to the place where they were executed.
And this is where the execution took place. They stood the condemned men up against that tree.
Why didn't the Belgian officers refuse to take part?
Now, that's a good question. The Belgian officers were on detachment to Katanga. They carried out the orders they received from the authorities they had been seconded to.
We dug a hole and we put them in front of it. We shot them and they fell into the hole.
This is the tree they were stood up against. And here are the famous bullet holes. Here you can see them a bit better. The bullets, of course, went right through their bodies before lodging themselves in this tree.
For me, the business with Lumumba started the morning after the execution. The man in charge, the Belgian, called me into his office and said, "Okay, are you going to take care of this?" And I said, "All right, but what do I have to do?"
The Katangans denied he was dead. They denied everything. It was absolutely crazy.
We cut the bodies up into pieces. They were buried twice. We cut them up into pieces, we burned them, and we also had huge quantities of acid, like you have in car batteries. So most of each body was dissolved. And then the rest, we burned them. But we had to do all this without the blacks seeing. In the middle of the forest. That was a problem too. There were two of us, just the two. And we had to do all that on our own. Get the three bodies out of the ground. Cut them into pieces and destroy them. And nobody was to know about it. And nobody did. Nobody knew what happened.
There were all kinds of stories about Lumumba's death. He was supposed to have escaped, stolen a car, been killed by some villagers who recognized him. But nobody believed any of that for a second.
Even the Belgian Minister for Africa, one of those pulling the strings behind the scenes, contributed to the cover-up with false telegrams.
I went there the next day. As soon as I arrived at the airport, I was told he was dead.
I wonder how you reacted to this news. What was your reaction?
Oh, I said, good riddance. What else would you expect me to say?
For you, it was the kind of solution of all problems?
Yes.
He was happy.
Happy, not perhaps the word. You're busy. Here's one problem going, now what's the next problem?
3 weeks later, the story was Lumumba and his accomplices massacred by villagers. Just one of countless lies. The whole truth only came to light 10 years later. None of the murderers or the men behind them has ever been indicted. Lumumba wrote a last letter from prison.
I often remember a sentence from that letter which said, "To my children whom I'm leaving."
To my children who I'll never see again, I'd like to say Congo has a magnificent future.
Tell them the future of Congo will be magnificent, and that he expects them, as he expects of every Congolese, to do their sacred duty.
There are even people who believe he will return. Now he'll have to come back with 2 front teeth missing.
You're Europeans. I think this image, and I'm not Jewish, I'm black, recalls the Holocaust. Their bodies were burned. Their body fat was used as fertilizer. Their gold teeth were taken as war booty. And that's called a crime against humanity. It's as simple as that.